Welcome back to Own Your Core. This is part 3 of the 3-part miniseries, so I get to close it out. Home stretch, guys.
All right.
Nice.
Yes.
You had the opportunity to sit down with the other partners here at Flexwork.
Oh, yeah.
You sat with Ludwig, you sat with Anker, and now you get to sit with the best.
There we go. Jason's the man. All right.
Did a lot of X's and O's on the first 2 parts.
Yeah.
Talked a lot of science, talked a lot of ingredients. On this episode, we're going to talk about lifestyle.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, for those who want the X's and O's, please go back and watch the other 2 episodes of the series. But what, we're talking take control science. We're talking about, it's not just, stuff in a bottle.
Correct. Yeah.
It is a lifestyle. And why don't you talk about that? Where did that come from?
Yeah. I mean, you hit it right on the money. Take control science is more than just a brand. It's like, I want to consider it a movement, right? Is just to clear the overall lack of awareness that we spoke about the last 2 episodes here, was just to let people know that a balanced lifestyle is what it's all about.
Yeah, and I'd have to say the same thing. I mean, this is a supplement. A supplement, by definition, is something in addition to something else, right? So this is not going to make me ripped by itself.
You didn't need 8 years of medical school for that, right?
No, right? And I just had to open a dictionary for that. And I'll say that there's so much other stuff you need in addition to the supplement. You need to be doing all the right things like exercising, right? And I can go into the depth of exercise. Samir, who is in fantastic shape, can get into it as well, even as far as diet goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the previous episodes we talk about everyone's diet being different, micronutrient deficiencies depending on what you do, what you eat, how you exercise. But I mean, essentially it comes down to a balance. And I guess that's part of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. Is that something where you guys feel like you want Take Control to be different than other supplement companies in that it's not just here's your this, here's your that. It's what you essentially just said, like this is a piece.
Yep.
Where do you feel like the deficiencies lie for a lot of people in society right now outside of this model?
Just wanting quick fixes, right? The whole GLP-1 thing going on right now is the great drug, right? So it's just, people are so busy these days. Lifestyles are tough to manage. So many obstacles come in the way of a plan that you may have. But I hope if there's one takeaway that Take Control Science brings is that you find consistency through all of that.
For people that are finding Take Control Science, this is the first time they're hearing about it. They're joining us in this series. What does day 1 look like? What does day 60 look like from a lifestyle perspective?
So I'll say that I want to take a step back, and I'll say that Take Control Science, we developed this product, Core Control, and as I mentioned, there's a whole lifestyle that goes along with it. And I want to actually jump on the last question for Samir too, because it ties into this. It comes down to the lifestyle itself. It comes down to what you're focusing on, right? In essence, if I'm even looking at a supplement and I'm interested in purchasing a supplement or using a supplement, I've already taken a leap of faith where I've told myself that I need to change something. I need to do something to improve my health, right? And that's part of me changing the focus in my life and changing the priorities in my life and making health number one. And I mean, I love this quote. There's a quote by Naval. I hate having to quote somebody else, but I actually love it because I say to myself all the time, and it ties into this. It's, a fit body, a calm mind, and a house full of love. These are things that cannot be earned.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these are things that cannot be bought. They must be earned, right?
Absolutely.
You can't buy a fit body. You cannot buy a calm mind, right? You can't buy love. And so if, in essence, you're focusing on these three things to improve your entire life, not your material life. And as a part of that triad, supplements are part of it. And it's part of it in the sense that you're maintaining a healthy lifestyle, you're eating the right things in the right balance, and you're exercising, you're making physical activity a priority in your life.
Absolutely.
And for all the gaps in between, you're taking a balanced product like this.
Yep. Right.
That makes so much sense. I mean, as you can see, I'm, double fisted on the fitness products.
Yeah, man.
And that's something for me personally. I made a huge priority this year, working on a documentary about eating healthy specifically, and I had to take a long, hard look at my life. I think a lot of people, I think what you just said makes so much sense. That step one isn't this. Step one isn't going to the gym. Step one isn't changing your diet. Step one is actually reaching that point where you're like, I'm gonna change
Yes.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think that is the hardest part. The documentary that I'm working on, it's called The Price of Health. And
Awesome.
really it grew out of the idea of like I think misinformation that eating healthy is expensive and therefore prohibitive.
Mm.
And what we set out to do is to look at that conceptually and talk to different people. And, first of all, I think expensive is always going to be subjective because everyone is in a different socioeconomic background. Fine. But healthy is also a little bit subjective, but also highly objective.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of misinformation that is, information is either right or wrong.
Yes.
For the most part. And then certainly is a lot of gray area, especially when it comes to food, medicine, supplements, all that.
Yeah.
So we looked at that
and
really tried to objectify this. And I did a 30-day experiment where I said I was going to eat healthy. The problem is that we needed sure, we can quantify the dollar amount. That's easy. But having a little bit of expertise in terms of what's healthy was important. But then also I needed a baseline because it's nice to know at the end of a month, like, yeah, this costs X number of dollars, but also like what happens to the body, what happens to you, data's everything. And then I went, this was back in January of this year. So I certainly looked different, not dramatically. I wasn't 80 pounds heavier,
Right.
6 months ago, but I was 20 and I didn't feel like I was out of shape, but really I took a blood test and it changed my life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That type of data is everything. We looked at every marker. I mean, it was pages and pages of stuff. I think we took like 14 vials of blood when we did that blood test.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. And my cholesterol was so out of whack. And these are things like you can't see in a mirror. You don't wake up in the morning and say, my cholesterol hurts,
Right.
Maybe your back hurts, maybe your knees hurt. Nobody says my cholesterol hurts, right? I mean, short of like really having like a serious heart condition, you wouldn't even say my heart hurts. You don't necessarily feel that, but you do. You just don't really understand how that, how that feels until you kind of feel a lot better.
Right.
And, I went into this and said, okay, how do I take control of myself, of my life?
Yes.
I don't ever want to take a blood test again. My triglycerides are over 400.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's
I was working with a nutritionist and a longevity doctor who was conducting a lot of these tests.
Yeah.
And when they both saw that result separately, I mean, the reaction was the same.
Yeah.
I mean, most doctors, I'm sure, wouldn't even want to let you out of the office without a statin at that point, given how medicine is in the United States. And really only by the grace of doing this experiment was I sort of allowed to continue just for the month without that advice or taking that trajectory. Also, I hadn't even had a blood test looking at that in like 10 years. So what was a month going to change at that point?
Mm-hmm.
But after 30 days, my triglycerides went down to 130.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And after 30 more days, when I then introduced exercise, they're below 100.
Wow.
Fantastic.
And that's just one marker.
Right.
My regular cholesterol is 250. Now it's like 170. I mean, and I think the biggest mistake that people make is thinking change is too hard. We all go on social media. You see these ripped guys with 8 packs at the gym.
Yeah.
And the truth is, for most of society, that is unattainable.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The amount of what we talk about, putting it together, right? Like
Yeah.
the food and then the exercise,
Right.
and then filling in with the supplements and and sleep. We haven't even talked about sleep yet.
No. And
Oh,
discipline,
man,
you
so
mentioned
important,
discipline, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily attainable for most people,
Yeah.
and nor does it have to be. Like, that doesn't have to be the standard, but I feel like social media and the internet, it sets the standard so high that then you come back and it's you get into the challenge of, well, what can I do? Like, how can I be better? And
Yeah.
talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
when you where with a methodology like this, what is the methodology for just everyday people?
Well, I personally think so. You mentioned, by the way, I love the perspectives that you mentioned, but I feel that it's more than just knowing that you want to change. It's like finding the why. Like, when you know your why and your purpose for why you want to make the change, you're going to be unstoppable. Because then you just plug in the basics: consistency, right? You plug in the basics, but knowing your why will drive you through the process.
And I do want to also jump on something you mentioned, because it's very interesting, is the fact that you said from the outside, you felt fine, right? From the inside, there were things going on out of your control, right? Or no, in your control, right? I mean, partly genetic, but mostly in your control because you made such a drastic improvement. But this is important because there are times where on the outside, something might seem healthy or good, but on the inside, it's not. This
Yes.
GLP-1 fad is a huge proponent of that.
Right.
You know, there are folks that take GLP-1s. They look great
Yeah.
quickly.
Mhm.
But what's happening underneath, if they're not a part of that 5-10% that is exercising regularly, has the discipline, following
Yes.
macros, you're losing a vast majority of your muscle.
Yeah.
Muscle is longevity, right? We know
Yeah.
this from multiple studies.
Yep.
So if you just take the average person that is just taking the quick fix, they look great, but you do that blood work, it's not great, right?
Yeah.
You're becoming more insulin resistant. You're increasing your risk of diabetes. You're increasing your risk of frailty, falls, mortality when you get, decades ahead. So, I mean, it's very interesting that you mentioned that.
And, I think when you talk to a lot of people, my girlfriend happens to be very into fitness as well. And, but she's one who's reluctant to take anything. She kind of comes from that camp of, we as human beings have survived for thousands of years without, without supplements, without anything additional. And the biggest problem is when we get into vaccines and you get in, there are things that have been around for a long time. There are things that are newer. Obviously, the COVID vaccine caused such a stir because it was like, this thing's brand new. We're just going to take it.
Yeah.
And one of the things she says to me very often is, where's the long-term testing on some of these things?
Right.
We live in the most advanced age of medicine, of technology. I mean, I personally believe that these things, they're going to kill us.
Oh, yeah.
But they're so new that there is no long-term results because it's not a long-term thing. Like we just have it. And obviously not to get too off topic, but anything with microwaves and I mean, all these things are relatively new that we're introducing into our lives. So, when you come out with a product like this, and obviously with Youngry, you talked about how it's not, the FDA doesn't approve supplements.
Right.
Where is the research?
Well, first of all, the product is all earth derived. It's all, plant derived. That's one major, focus point really. But we could go in, when it becomes questionable is when people start taking synthetic things, like things that were manipulated or man-made into these things. So, but Niraj can probably.
I think it comes down to from the so I'll say it from a perspective of as a consumer, me as a consumer, not me as a doc, right? Me as a consumer first. I need to trust you, right? In order to use any product, right? How am I going to trust you? I need to know your credentials. Are you just some schmo that has, developed core control and I can't find any information about you and I can easily download the transcript off YouTube, put it through ChatGPT, and find out this guy's full of shit, right? Or is this guy a physician and a pharmacist? Look through, made sure everything's evidence-based, and I encourage you to put this through the transcript through it, because it's all there. I mean, the receipts are there. Yeah. I mean, we want to make sure this is a product that builds trust. Yes. I mean, we want to build trust, right?
Right.
We take this ourselves, and so I think for like most decisions in life, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of a gut instinct there as well. I mean, we're humans. Over years, people have scammed us. People have hurt us. People have helped us. Yeah. And you build your own intuition. And you have to make sure that if someone is telling you, encouraging you that this is something that might benefit you, that they have the right credentials to tell you, they don't have conflicts of interest to tell you, that they're taking it themselves. Yeah. And that there are other third parties that can verify what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Correct.
Let's talk about sleep a little bit, because we brought it up earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's, I think everyone has some kind of intuition that when you sleep well, you feel better. Mm-hmm. But what's the science there, and how does that fit into the lifestyle, or the overall lifestyle?
My take is that recovery is just important as the daily checklist. Your body has to recover, and from your day to day, and the best time to do that is when you're sleeping. That's when protein synthesis occurs, right? But basically, well rested equals happy life.
Yeah, and I mean, you take every bodybuilder ever, right? Everyone that's looked great, the people with the best skin, what's their secret? Seems to be sleep. It goes back to protein synthesis, right? I mean, if you're working out all the time, you're lifting weights, you're not doing yourself any favor if you're not sleeping well. And I mean, there are a lot of things that sleep is pretty complicated. I mean, every day there's a new startup that's trying to tackle sleep, new smart mattresses, or these sleep studies you do by the bed, or these little things you put on your nose to sleep better, right? There's so many things, but I'll say that there's so much benefit from getting the right amount of sleep. There's so many things that affect it that are ingrained in our lifestyle, like alcohol, right? Technically, if you have a drink within a couple of hours of bed, you're not going to get
restful sleep.
You're not going to get great sleep. It's going to affect protein synthesis, right?
I was going to ask you, just based on that, like in your first month, when you had all these improvements, did you naturally just sleep better?
I think the two main stages for me were starting to eat healthy, which I did for a month, and then introducing exercise into the second month of also eating healthy. It's been 6 months as of like 2 days ago.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was, by the way, that was my biggest question that I had asked the doctor I was working with. Not that I thought he had any major research or insight into it, but I said, when is this going to become normal? And he kind of threw out a number. He said 100 days. He's like, that's not anything, but there has been research that not even for just health, but in general, if you do something for 100 days, it starts to become habit. There's been research on that.
Yep.
And that's probably about right. I mean, there are things that I've looked at. Yesterday as an example, we had a shoot, and it was, had a commute into Manhattan and then go back to Long Island.
Oh, man.
And I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning and on a train. I got home at 6 o'clock at night. In my previous life, that would be couch, good night. Like, it's over. And forget what bad thing I probably would have eaten for dinner to, solve whatever chemical I deserve this that I needed.
All right.
I could not wait till I got home. It's 95 degrees here in New York. It's the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
And I could not wait to rip off the pants I was wearing. So it was so hot. Throw on a pair of shorts, go outside, and I ran 3 miles.
Nice.
Amazing. Yes.
Not even close to anything I would have ever done in the past. Yeah. And the truth is, there was an excitement for it.
Yeah.
Like the dopamine has clearly shifted.
Yeah.
And to get to sleep, in theory, I could have. There are so many things that go into like the perfect healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And with sleep being as important as it was, I don't know how I would have tanked sleep beforehand, but getting the Whoop, and this is not an ad for Whoop, I got it for exercise because I kind of wanted to have a sense of like what I was doing and sort of the changes there.
Yeah.
I didn't wear it while I was eating because I did not add exercise to my life at the time specifically so we could focus on food.
Yep.
Yeah.
But once I got it, I realized that the magic, the magic formula and every company has basically jumped on the exact same formula in terms of wearables.
Right.
Is sleep. Yeah.
Or a ring.
Right. It's the same thing.
There we go.
You look at sleep, you look at strain,
Yeah.
and then activity and recovery.
Yeah.
Every device is the same thing. They just present the data differently.
Yeah.
And you start looking at sleep differently. I mean, I hate to say it, but like the computer on my wrist and then the computer in my pocket, like they tell me you need this much sleep, and like I listen.
Yeah.
And I view it as a guide, and it's, medicine is changing so much because the traditional go to the doctor once a year. I mean, how much are you going to get out of it? And if that's all you do, you can get something out of it. It's not to say people shouldn't go to the doctor, but I feel like we're at a point where you could do far better on your own with guidance.
Yep.
I've taken 3 blood tests this year.
Yep.
I took 0 for the 10 years before it.
Yeah.
And now I'm able to see what's working, and listen, I didn't go to med school, but I can take those blood tests and upload them into ChatGPT and say, compare them.
Yes.
What do you see? And these are kind of great things. And I think in the most obtuse way possible to answer the question about sleep. Yeah. It has absolutely helped because a day like yesterday when I didn't get good sleep the night before, which was sort of unavoidable. I happened to have I was actually exercising till late the night before and then knew I had to be up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
You wake up, you kind of feel groggy, whatever. Yeah. You have the thing on your wrist that goes, your recovery today is a 50. So you're like, all right, well, okay. The computer matches the emotion.
Yeah.
which is good to get that, it's working. I mean, if it would have told me my recovery was a 95, I would have been like, no, like this is not it. Yeah. So now you have this and then you're kind of able to act on it. And you feel like, oh wow, my body feels terrible. And then last night I got a great night's sleep and I woke up and my recovery was like almost a 90 and I went and worked out this morning and I felt great going into that workout. Yeah. And it's, the data matches. And I think that's what you're talking about with trust. I started using Whoop this year. They've been out for about 5 years. They're sort of one of the market leaders along with Aura. Yeah. And so there is a level of trust within the fitness community and users that like, okay, this isn't junk science. This is data. Right. They have millions of data points that they built their algorithms on. So I sort of came in, I wasn't an early adopter. I was a very late adopter. So you could trust it. Right. It's like getting your first iPhone as the iPhone 10. Like, iPhones work, right? But that's where the trust is. I already know it works for other people. The data matches how I feel. Yep. And then you see the change in your life. And I wonder when we bring that all back to kind of what you guys are doing with, with Take Control, how looking at Take Control from a 30,000 foot view as it's not just a supplement, it's a lifestyle. Like really what does that mean? And how can people kind of get on board and understand that it's not just about, even though this fills in the gaps, it's not just about the gaps.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned it, you established your non-negotiables, right? So there, I just love that story about you came home from a long day and you ran 3 miles. I had so many of those experiences. That's so badass. So many of those experiences in the year I've been on my own self-care journey where the non-negotiable is I'm going to get my workout in. I'm going to get my steps in. And I did whatever the hell it took. I did it at 6 a.m. I did it at midnight, whatever it took. But those were the non-negotiables that were established.
And I would say that the way you described the age we're in now, right? Even as a physician looking at a patient or someone that is now augmenting their care with advice from an AI, right? So think of your entire life, your entire picture of health like a 1,000-piece puzzle, right? If you were going to a doc right? You said there's like a decade gap there, right?
I mean, I hate to say it, but very honestly,
Yeah.
I have not had a physician that I could call my physician since my pediatrician.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah, that's
I have gone to a doctor since I was 18.
right.
But I need a doctor, so let me randomly go to that guy. Oh, my friend goes to this guy. I'll go see him one time. I mean, I haven't had, like, if somebody's like, can I have your medical records?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know to call. I don't even know where they are. Like,
Yes.
I have no idea. Yeah, exactly. For my entire adult life.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, just so let's think of the average person, which now that I think about it, is probably the same way where there's some gaps. You're getting some visits here and there. So let's call it one visit every 2 years. All right.
Yeah.
Let's be conservative here.
Right.
So you're spending 15 minutes of getting advice every 2 years. Right. So in a 1,000-piece puzzle, you laid down one piece every 2 years. Right. Now you're getting 15 minutes a day. Right? You're uploading things. You're talking to an augmented being, right? In between your visits, you're getting advice. You're laying down all these puzzle pieces. You're so much farther along and you're learning what works, what doesn't work, what affects your health, what doesn't. It only makes that relationship better with a healthcare provider because then they can help you even more. You're invested in your health. I think that is one of the biggest issues. There's a dichotomy with patients, and physicians will say this. So many people just don't care about their health. They either care about their health or they're biohackers, right?
Exactly.
Right? They're doing all this strange stuff to their bodies, or they're doing nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And going to the hospital repeatedly for being short of breath, but they're smoking like 3 packs a day, right? And so I think this is the best medium where it kind of encourages you. The barrier is low for you to invest in your health. So I feel like this is this is a piece of that, right? This is a piece of that 1,000-piece puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going along your journey. Hey, I'm invested in my health now. I'm making progress. I'm learning things that work for me that don't. And there are going to be gaps there. And, take control, core control itself is filling one of those gaps in that puzzle piece. But you have to do so much more to fill in that puzzle. This is only like 10 pieces, maybe 20 pieces, right? Or let's say 200. Let's give it more credit, right? We'll give it more credit.
The big pieces. The corners.
Yeah, exactly, right? You need it. Then you got to fill in the rest, but you have to have buy-in.
Yep.
And and let's just sort of talk very specifically, what are the pieces that it's filling in? If I have the most discipline in the world, what can I get without help?
What can't you get? So I will say, doesn't matter how disciplined you are, the human body has been engineered. And depending on your beliefs, it can be millions of years, thousands of years, billions of years, right?
Yeah.
Depending on your beliefs. But what I'm
minimum of about 5,000.
Yeah, right? Depending on your belief. And so I'll say that no matter what, when you go into a calorie deficit, right? We're all
1 year
the vast majority of us are larger than we need to be. And I'm saying that really nice, right?
Right.
I don't want to get flagged on YouTube or something, right? And so one of the best things about this product, all naturally derived, is it can reduce cravings and it slows gastric emptying. It slows down the food being absorbed in your stomach. So you're not eating as much. It's actually teaching you to eat the right portion foods, right? Not craving to eat foods in between, which has been the biggest benefit. There's so many other things that are in the actual balance of ingredients, but I'll say if I'm directing your question, absolutely, it would be the cravings and the appetite suppression as a result of that.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, the human body has been set up so efficiently as far as hormone release that if you eat less, you're going to eat more. Whether it's today or 7 days from now or 14 days from now when you're at a Brazilian steakhouse.
For example.
Random example.
Hypothetically.
It could happen. You might overeat.
Now, I think the first question that comes to mind is, as you know, the New Yorker that I am, then on the flip side is, if I have a good fast metabolism, why do I want to slow that down? Won't that hurt me long term?
Well, I can address this. But
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So that the metabolism thing is kind of a misnomer in the sense that it depends on how you define your metabolism.
Yeah.
So when you say, as a New Yorker, you have a fast metabolism, what are we talking about? Are we talking about the Rockland diet where you're smoking
Correct.
2 packs a day and getting skinny because you're not hungry? Like, what are we talking about here?
You know, just a natural sense that, I've always been, you know, people who say, I've always been skinny because I have a fast metabolism.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So that metabolic health I like to like best define it as what you ingest and how your body uses it for energy, right? There's like 4 or 5 major main principles of metabolic health or metabolism, which would be blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, waist circumference, and something else. LDL or triglycerides, one of those. So now if you think about it through that lens, then you're really talking, right? Because that's what you need, because like you said, like fast and slow, those are hard to you know, it's hard to understand like that. But when you actually break it down into what metabolic health is and what it's composed of, that helps.
And I'll add one thing to that, because those are all the things that are measured for metabolic health. One thing that's a big proponent of metabolic health is muscle mass too. So if you're a skinny New Yorker, I mean, have you ever measured your body fat percentage? There are tons of skinny people out there that have tons of body fat. Majority of their body mass is not muscle. Muscle is what is metabolically mainly active, right? You can truly have a fast metabolism if you have higher muscle mass itself. Now, if I had a body fat machine, right, to measure your machine,
to have that,
a DEXA, like
DEXA. I've taken 2 this year.
Like if I had a portable DEXA and I were, shine it on all of us, and truly we're all skinny and we have high muscle mass. I mean, that's awesome. That's ideal.
Right.
But statistically speaking, it's not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that taking into account those biomarkers, the waist circumference, and the body fat percentage, you can get a better picture of metabolism. And then based on that, you kind of have to make an individualized treatment plan.
Does this product then affect everyone the same, regardless of kind of where you're starting?
Not necessarily. No, I mean, it's a versatile product. You can look at it as an optimizer in general. So like, let's say you're just focused on you're somebody who holds excess water weight. It could be, I mean, for somebody like that, it could be a quick, I don't like using the word quick fix, but it could be something that works faster than, by reducing excess water weight. You can use it when you're on a strength and recovery plan to boost your energy during workouts. The magnesium glycinate in here is amazing not magnesium glycinate, but anyway, the magnesium that's in there is great to help with recovery. You can use it in caloric deficit, like I did, to help with energy levels and I mean, it's just the versatility is amazing.
Yeah, and I'll say that I'm beating it. I'm beating the same thing over and over again when I say reduce cravings and reducing your appetite, right? Controlling that appetite. So there's this, essentially the Bible of internal medicine. It's like this big. It's called Harrison's.
Yeah.
Everyone says they've read it. They've never actually read it. Like some guy, one of the docs from India will probably have read the whole thing, do residency in India, come over here and do residency here and read the newest version of it. And they're the most brilliant specialists you'll meet. And I've met those people. And one of I've read some of it. Okay, I haven't read the whole thing. I'm not one of those people. So, but I'll say one of the biggest takeaways from the book was, and this has been around forever, is they found that over one's lifetime, the fewer calories you ingest, the longer you live. And the longer you live with less morbidity. I mean, So morbidity and mortality are reduced. So suffering's reduced your lifespan increases, right?
Wow.
With reduced calories over a lifetime. So if there's something that can naturally reduce the amount of calories you consume that are actually needed for nutrition, for you to
Yes.
enjoy a good life, you're not putting on too much weight. And remember, there's so many downstream effects of eating too much. Like for every pound you gain, you gain 2 pounds in your knees, right? These are things that we all will learn more
Yeah.
about in a couple of decades, right? We're going to feel it.
Yeah.
And so you want to get ahead of that,
Yeah.
right? And I'm telling you this not from the perspective of only a family medicine physician, but I also practice as a sports medicine physician. So there's so many downstream effects of having too much weight on your frame.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's just part of it.
Yeah, and I would say for me, going through what I went through, the fact that I've lost 20 pounds doesn't even seem real because I don't feel like I looked like I had 20 pounds to lose, whatever that.
That's
Oh,
awesome. Congrats, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's huge.
And that wasn't even the goal necessarily. I don't even know. I actually didn't really have a weight loss goal because again, I figured that would sort of just come with it, right?
Right.
But I had a bad back for years.
Oh.
And I always kind of blamed it. My father has a bad back. So
Yeah.
is that anecdotal? Is that genetic? Is that
Yeah.
a combination? And my father's in his 70s,
Yeah.
walks all the time. He's in fairly good shape. Sure, he probably has a couple pounds to lose, but really not much. I mean, he's a tall guy. Looks like this guy's in his 70s. Looks great, right?
Yeah.
But he's had a bad back. And you could call it what you want, but I lost 20 pounds and I got in shape and now I don't have a bad back.
Oh,
Huge.
nice.
Yeah. huge.
So it's not genetic. It's not,
Mhm.
it's effort. And
Yes.
one of the people
Yeah.
that I spoke with in the documentary who I interviewed, basically, it was one of the things that really has stuck with me that has very much changed my outlook to the future, which is, you could live a long life and some of that'll be pot luck, right? Unfortunately, some people get hit by cars. Like
Yeah.
you kind of,
Right,
you don't know when your day is, but if it's just going to sort of be the natural progression of your life, do you want those last 20 years to be where you can't get off the couch or you can't breathe walking up the stairs, or do you want to feel great till whatever the age is?
Yeah.
And, I don't know if I want to live to be 100, but
what you can control.
yeah. And exactly.
What you
And
can
it's,
control.
and I think that's the goal, right? That whatever the number is, however long you live, and you talked with Ankur about those ridiculous, claims of this will add 5 years to your life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Do you want to live another 5 years? Maybe, maybe not. But what about the fact that this will make your life more enjoyable? That you'll be able to
Exactly.
chase around your grandkids,
Exactly.
while they're playing in the yard. I think it's those
Yeah.
mental images and
Yeah.
the thought of living that way that's kind of more
Yeah.
exciting and where a lot of this stuff and the effort
Right.
that you put in your 20s and 30s and 40s can pay dividends down the road.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was certainly my whole purpose of my weight loss. I lost 43 pounds in 12 months.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
It's
incredible.
Yeah, but really the driving force was my family, my wife and 3 kids. My kids lost their grandfather, my dad, just 3 years ago, at a young age, 68. I didn't want to be a statistic. I turned 40 last year and I said, something's got to change. Just like you said, something's got to change, right? But then the purpose of knowing that my kids are in this and I want to be alive. I want to be thriving. I want to be able to run around with them in 20 years, whatever. But what I can control is my health and what I eat, how active I am, how much rest I get, like all the little things, and how consistent I am. That is what makes the difference.
Yeah, and I think really ultimately it's not a secret when you look at the lifestyle. It is hard.
Mm-hmm.
After a month of eating healthy, people said, "Oh, was that hard?" And I honestly, I said it wasn't.
No.
It was an experiment. I was doing something. I was being filmed for it, so
Yeah.
a little bit
Wow.
easier. You're kind of in it.
I feel like that's still hard if you're getting filmed.
That's true. I mean, the accountability level was astronomically high.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing I ate in the entire month was one meal at Chipotle.
Wow.
That was the worst
Wow.
thing I ate. I mean,
In 30 days.
in 30
That's
days.
impressive.
And I was
Dang.
like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm eating this. Like how bad.
Right.
And then the reality of it is you'll talk to most nutritionists, and they're like,
Chipotle's
Chipotle's fine.
great.
Yeah, it's totally
really
fine.
good.
Chipotle's so healthy.
Yeah.
It's like, just stay away
Yeah.
from the sour
Yeah.
cream, and I didn't even
Right.
have cheese, and it's just
Wow.
like
That mindset is huge.
Wow.
yeah, it just felt like, oh,
just-
I can't go into
Yeah.
a fast food
Yeah.
Yeah.
restaurant.
Right.
But yeah, it wasn't hard. I mean, the day I started exercising, that was hard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm
I bet.
working with a trainer who
Yeah.
destroys me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you can get to that hump too, where you go like, is this worth it? You know, is it worth like
Yeah.
me wanting
Oh,
to
yeah.
go outside and run
Yeah.
in 100+
Yeah.
percent humidity?
Yeah.
I mean, well, you get to a point where the answer is actually yeah, because you feel better.
You feel it.
You're not just
see
putting
it.
in the work for the future. You're actually putting in the work to feel better right now.
Yes.
So that tomorrow when you wake up, you
Mhm.
feel good, you
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
you're not living in,
Yeah.
and I give Jeff Halliday credit, who's the one who said this to me in my interview. You're not living in this meat sack of a
Yeah.
body where
Yeah.
where you just want to break out of your own skin.
Yeah, yeah. I saw something on social media recently about like is this special forces, ex-Navy SEAL, something along that line, who said the best way or the only way to achieve like success that you're referring to is by inconveniencing yourself.
Hmm.
Like that stuck to me, man. Like in the last year is like do something that you don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. No, who does? Inconvenience yourself. You don't want to come home after a long day and go run. Do it. Inconvenience yourself. But that did kind of stick to me. I think that was a big part of.
And I would say that without doing a scientific study, the number's really close to 100% of people who force themselves out of bed and then go work out.
Yeah.
And they may feel like crap when they wake up and crap when they walk into the gym or yoga or
Yeah.
Pilates or whatever it is. I would say that the number is damn near 100% that 5 minutes after they walk out, they feel great.
Oh,
Absolutely.
that's-
Yeah.
100% true.
You
I completely
you feel
agree
it
with that.
and you see it and that keeps you going. Yeah.
I mean, every time that I've woken up sub 6 a.m. and done some kind of exercise, it
Never
fuels
regret it.
your day. I mean, yeah, it fuels your day in the best way possible.
Right.
And then, oh, but I have to stay up till midnight. No, you don't. Wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and put in, a workout that gets your heart rate like into levels 3, 4, and 5, zones 3,
Yeah.
4, and 5.
Yeah.
At 9 o'clock when you're tired, you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. And then do
Yeah.
it, and then do it all over again the next day.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah,
it's
man.
it ties back to what you were saying in the beginning of this, where it comes down to discipline too, right? That's all part of discipline, because you're prioritizing your future self over your present self, right? You want to live long enough where you enjoy that time with grandchildren or
Yeah.
family in the
Yeah.
future. And I think it comes down to you can't just do one thing, right? We're all doing mixed variation of exercise, diet, right? A big proponent of that is, muscle mass. Again,
Yeah.
I'll say muscle mass.
Absolutely.
You're
yeah.
all
It's
you
so
have a
huge.
trainer. You have a trainer.
Mhm.
We all train, right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so it's the question of, do you want to be 70? You want to do cardio all the time? Are you going to be running on a beach when you're 70? Or are you going to be lifting a bag in a Delta airline plane up and down from, the luggage storage, right?
Right.
And some douche behind you's not helping you, right? Right. You don't want to be that old person that can't do these simple things
Yeah.
because you need muscle, right?
Right.
And so whatever muscle we build now,
Mhm.
there's going to be a point where we're going to lose it each year,
Yeah.
right? I'd rather be at peak, right? Most muscle mass possible, maintain it as long as possible. I know it's going to drag down over the
Yeah.
years, but the longer I have it, the better life I'm going to live.
What's the age group that it's like it really matters for the ultimate success for later in life, like past 40 to 50?
I think it's
something like
between
that?
40 and 50.
Yeah.
If you're maintaining it at
Uh-huh.
that point, after that, there's always a little bit of muscle mass loss per year,
Mm.
right? So if you're still training, doing resistance training, you're slowing that down,
Yeah.
that decline,
Right.
right? Now, if you don't have it at all,
Mhm.
then you're putting yourself up for pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're preparing yourself for pain
Right.
if you're preparing at all, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one thing I did want to mention.
Absolutely.
So to kind of put a bow on it,
Mhm.
from each one of you, how does this ultimately fit into the lifestyle?
Dude, I just want to say, don't wait. Take control of your life right now. And that's just why I came up with the name, or we came up with the name, Take Control Science. it fits into my life in so many different ways. It just you know, a journey must become a way of life. You know, everything starts as a journey, but when it becomes a way of life, that's it.
200 pieces out of the 1,000-piece puzzle, man. It's not the whole puzzle, but it's a much needed portion of it.
Yeah. All right. So if you want to learn more about the science, you can go back and watch parts 1 and 2 with Ankur and Ludwig. And if you want to learn more about Take Control Science, takecontrolscience.com.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.